Today's episode is going to be so special because I finally got my hands on the Stahls Poly-Twill that I've been eyeing for quite some time. So if you guys want to see how it works, stick around with me throughout this episode. I'm going to try it out for the first time right here on camera. So before we get started, please make sure to like and subscribe to help keep this channel growing. It's been growing a lot so far and I'm so grateful for that. So I just wanted to say thank you for your continuous love and support. You guys really seem to like the last episode and I know you guys are gonna like this one just as much. So without further ado, let's jump right in. So this is the first time that I'm trying this out, so bear with me. I'm still trying to figure out how this all works. I do know how to do applique, which is the process that we're going to use to apply the Poly-Twill to the garment, but I've never actually worked with these before. It seems to have like a little adhesive layer, which I assume is just to keep the number stable while you're appliquing it on. Since this is a first impressions video, I'm just going to talk to you about how it feels, how much it costs, and all that before we get into the actual demonstration. So just from looking at it, the quality seems really nice, which I would hope so because it is kind of a higher price point, but when you actually break it down and do the math, it's not too bad with the time that you're going to be saving, and I'll get into that in just a minute. So the numbers have this little glue in the back, so I assume you would peel this off and you would place it to make sure that the fabric isn't moving around while the needle is tacking down. So what I really like about this is that it comes with a top number and a bottom number. So this of course would be my bottom number and this would be my top number, and then you can also buy the digitized file already made on Stahls as well. So this is a huge time saver. You don't have to go and outsource your digitizing. This is already specifically made for this size. So that right there is worth the $2 that you're paying. When you take a look at the time that you're gonna be saving, it's actually really not bad. And since this is kind of like a special effect, you can charge it at a premium. So you would definitely make a lot more than you're spending in this case. So not only are you saving time with digitizing and not having to cut out the numbers, you're also saving time because this is gonna be it is gonna be an applique. So you are not going to need to stitch any fills. Usually in the embroidery design, what takes the longest is stitching in all of those fills. So right off the bat, without even trying it, I already know that it is definitely worth the $2 per garment. What would this work for? It can really work for anything, but I would say it has more of like a sports feel. So if you're doing little sports jerseys, you can buy larger numbers as well. So now that I gave you a little overview about the product itself, I am just gonna go ahead and talk about what I'm gonna be using for this project specifically. So I'm going to be using my mighty hoop, because if you have one of these things, why would you use regular hoops? These are just so much easier to use, in my opinion. I actually don't know why I have scissors. The great thing about this is that I don't need scissors, so I can put this aside and just keep it for emergencies. I have snips, of course, just in case I get any little excess thread. And then I'm going to be using this little children's jacket, and I think I'm just gonna place the two in the back. Just in case I haven't mentioned this yet, the back does have an adhesive that's gonna do two things. One, it's gonna help keep it stable while you are embroidering the applique on, and also it's going to, once you already have this embroidered on, you can go ahead and put this for 10 seconds under the heat press and reinforce it. All right, so I lied, I do need scissors to cut the backing, but you know, if you have pre-cut backing, you don't need scissors. So I'm just gonna use cutaway, but you can use tearaway just because you don't have that many stitches. So usually cutaway is if you have a lot of stitches and you need a lot of support, but you can also just use tearaway for this. I'm just gonna use the little seam of the jacket to kind of give me a nice estimate. I would say like right up here is good. Whenever I eyeball things, I just tend to fold them in half just to make sure. So at this point, it looks like I'll be safe. I'm not gonna move my mark. Looks like I'll pretty much be safe if I just move it a little more this way. So I'll just stick more to the right side of the mark. For those of you who don't know how the mighty hoops work, they're very, very simple. I'm gonna go over this a little more in another video, but they basically just snap right together because they have a magnet. They're magnetic hoops. So you literally just have to place it right on top and it'll snap. So it makes hooping extremely easy. See that? Simple. just want to confirm that I have enough space, which I do. All right guys, so we had a slight change of plans, so I'm gonna have to rehoop this using a regular hoop. And why? Because I realized that I was using the EM1010 and not the TC, which I normally use, and that one isn't compatible with the brackets that came with this Mighty hoop specifically. So I'm just gonna go ahead and use it with the EM1010 hoops, which will do the trick just as well.
One eternity later.
So 30 minutes later, we are here now, going to press start. So far, I really like the way it's holding down, as opposed to just using regular temporary adhesive spray. The glue on the back is really stable, so it makes sure that there is absolutely zero errors. That looks awesome. It's looking so nice, and now I have all this pressure of making sure it comes out perfect. All right. Wow, this is gonna look so great. I am really loving this product so far. All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and bring the frame back in. I love how I don't have to use temporary adhesive spray because it tends to get so messy. So this is awesome. Running it at 800 because I don't have time. Plus it's already tacked down. So the reason why I was running a little bit slower was just to make sure that it doesn't move around that much. But since it's already tacked down and it's just doing the final satin stitch border, I can crank up the speed. All right, so we're all done. And wow, this is looking so good. And it was so easy to make. I really like this product so far. I'm gonna go ahead and just cut out the backing and then take one final look at how everything looks. So I actually would have used the tearaway because it just looks a lot cleaner and it's a lot easier to get rid of. When you have high production like this and you don't have that many fill stitches, you don't need as much stability. So you can use a tearaway and be fine with it. And then that way you don't have to spend any time cutting. The idea here is to crank orders out quickly. So you don't want to come here and have to cut around the corners. Plus it also looks a lot cleaner. So that doesn't mean that I don't love cutaway. I do love cutaway when it's necessary, like on polos and all of that. But something like this doesn't really require it. But anyway, this looks absolutely fantabulous. The only thing I would have done differently is I probably would have thought a little bit better about what colors to use, but this was so easy. It looks amazing. Now, if I want to, I mean, it's already pretty much permanent because of the stitches, but if I wanted to go to the extra mile, I would just grab the heat press and put it in the heat press for 10 seconds, and that will glue it even further. So it's going to reinforce it and make it stick even more onto the garment. So yeah, I am obsessed with this. I want to keep using this for basically everything. All in all, I think that this is a fantabulous idea. I would continue purchasing this. This is a great product. Shout out to Stahls. This makes embroidering so much easier. You don't have to worry about dealing with digitizers and, you know, telling them the specs that you want. you literally just have it all done for you. So yeah, definitely worth the money, and definitely will save you money in the long run when it comes to production time. So for the beginners watching this video, the process that you just witnessed is called appliqué. If you guys want to learn more about how appliqué is done, this is just one of the ways it's done. We have other videos as well, so I'm gonna go ahead and link them for you. There are 2 ways to do appliqué. You can have your fabric already cut and just place it on there and stitch it on, or you can just place a piece of fabric, stitch first, and then cut around it and then do the final satin stitch border. So if you guys want to visualize that, then go ahead and look at my other video to see how you can do appliqué if you don't have these pre-cut. So that's more just for like one-off projects. And as always, we encourage you to join our Facebook group, Embroidery and Custom Apparel Mastery. Also going ahead and linking that below. If you have any questions for me personally, you can find me on that group. Also, if you have any questions about this process, if you have done this before, if you want to learn more about appliqué, leave us some comments below. Give me some of your feedback. And seriously guys, when we first started Embroidery Hub, we just did all requests. And lately the requests have slowed down a little bit more, so we want to definitely keep knowing what you guys want to see. So leave us requests below and we'll make that happen. All right, so that is all there is to it. I hope you guys had fun watching this. I had so much fun making this. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye. Wish that it fit me so that I can model it for you guys, but I've been letting myself go lately, so it's a little snug. Okay.